Greetings and welcome to another video. It's Sunday, 14th November 2021, and in this video I want to mention two amazing friends of mine. First friend is a guy called Mavis, who I've known since, secondary school. We both went to secondary school together between 1993 and 1998. We went to New College together between 1998 and 2001. And Mavis, you're an amazing guy. Definitely one of my best friends. And the other guy I want to mention is Lewis Davis. Hi Lewis. Again, you're a really good guy, great friend, everything like that. And a few years ago, both Mavis and Lewis were working at the Place Theatre in Oakengates. And while they were there, they met and worked with a guy called Gareth Barsby. And they would often talk about this Gareth Barsby fellow, of how he was a really interesting guy to work with. And I remember one day, both Mavis and Lewis got really excited when they found out that Gareth Barsby had written and published his own book. And here it is now, The Werewolf Asylum by Gareth Barsby. So a bit of information in the book about this book will be in the description box below this video. And both Lewis and Mavis read this book, got a copy and read this book years ago, and they just really enjoyed reading this book, and they would always whenever it came up in conversation, they'd always tell me that I should get my own copy and read it myself. They were just really amazed by it. And fast forward to earlier this year, when Mavis said to me, I was visiting Mavis at his place for a few beers and all that, and Mavis turned to me and said, "Listen, man, I've got you a copy of the Werewolf Asylum for you to read." And today's the day that I finally read the Werewolf Asylum. And before I continue with what I think about the book, thank you, Mavis, for getting me a copy of this book. I really appreciate the fact that Mavis got me a copy of this book, so thank you. So in this video, I'd like to talk about what I thought about this book. But before I do tell you about what I thought about this book, I'm going to read you what it says on the back here. Okay? So you get an idea of what's going on. In Victorian England, there is a special institution where two men intend to help lycanthropes suppress their nocturnal transformations while searching for a more permanent cure. One evening, they discover a rare type of werewolf, one trapped eternally in a half-human, half-wolf form that they believe could be beneficial to their research. Martha, however, believing her shape is due to her being a messiah for her brethren, wishes to see the other werewolves embrace their curse. Can she be treated or cured? Or will her Lord have his way? Read the journal of a doctor working to comprehend lycanthropy and uncover what lurks within the Werewolf Asylum. So those of you who don't know, lycanthrope or lycanthropes is the ancient Greek word for werewolves, basically. Anyone who's seen the Underworld films with, I think, Kate Beckinsale as was the actress who was in those, where she was a vampire and there's a war going on between vampires and werewolves. I saw the first Underworld film and I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, the point is, anyone who's seen those films would have heard the word lycanthrope be mentioned a few times as the word meaning werewolves, basically. And yeah, in this book, as I've just stated, there's an institution that the inmates are all werewolves, and you've got two men working there. Let's see, where are his names? Hang on a moment. So yeah, you've got two men who operate this asylum, and one of them, a Dr. Halston, is the associate and employee of the first man, the man who actually owns the institution where all these inmates are kept. And as I said, all the inmates are werewolves, and it's the mission of these two scientists, these two men, to find a cure for being a werewolf, and how they intend to help those who are cursed with being a werewolf control their urges and maintain human form, basically. And as said in the description on the back of the book, they encounter a woman who is, in permanent werewolf form, but she's not a savage animal. She's an intelligent creature, has human intelligence, is able to walk and talk like a human, and believes herself to be a messiah or a disciple of her lord, werewolf god, if I understand correctly. So yeah, the book is not very long, as you can see. It's only a thin book, and each chapter is only a couple of pages long, again not very long, and it's written as a diary entry by one of the men who own the asylum, and it happened, and all the events in this book take place between the end of December, start of January, the end of December in the year 1886, start of January 1887, and the events keep on going until March 1887. And it's like I said, it was an easy read, it was a good read. Each chapter being like very short, like presented to you as a diary entry. Um, and it's a fairly common practice doing it that kind of format in certain types of books. For example, years ago, I read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and that was written in a format of a series of letters. And I think I also read Dracula as well, and that was written in a series of diaries, entries, and letters as well. So it's a fairly standard format of uh, structuring a book like that, depending on the subject you're talking about, like you find a book. So yeah, when I first opened the pages today, I wasn't sure what I wanted. No, that's the wrong way of saying it. I wasn't sure what I was expecting. That's the better way of saying it. I wasn't sure what to expect when I read the book. But to be honest with you, I really enjoyed it. Um, something like this, could easily be a completely cringe story, a completely terrible book. But to be honest, in my opinion, I really enjoyed it. It was actually, I found it really interesting. Uh, to be honest, yeah, with a bit of work, like if you've got a professional script writer or screenwriter is, uh, I would not be surprised if this could be turned into some kind of gothic horror movie kind of thing. Yeah, I think the structure and how it happens might work as a gothic horror movie, to be honest with you. But you'd need a professional like screenwriter and in on the job sorting it out. But no, I, as I was reading the book, there was a thought in my head at certain points where I honestly thought this could work as a gothic horror film. Because at the end of the day, the basic concept of this film, so basic concept of this book, of this story that I've just read, I found interesting. I really, really did find it interesting that two guys in Victorian England are trying to cure lycanthropy, trying to cure werewolfism. And yeah, now, is this book the greatest book in the world? No, it's not the greatest book in the world. Um, if I was to rate it out of 10, uh, it would probably be a 6.5, probably. Um, well, well, to be fair, I would rate it a proper 7, maximum. Rate it 7. Um, because I love reading a good book. I love reading great books and all that. But I'm more of a science fiction fan, to be honest with you, than I am a horror fan. So I could probably, something about science fiction I find more interesting and easier to relate to and get into, that kind of thing. So if you put a good science fiction book in front of me, I'm happy. I remember years ago when I read War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. I love that book. War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells is a complete masterpiece, in my opinion. Absolute 10 out of 10 stuff. As for horror novels, horror stories, yeah, I'll gladly sit down and read them. To be honest, yeah, I will no doubt enjoy a few of them. After all, I did enjoy reading Frankenstein and Dracula. Um, but like I say, I'm more of a science fiction fan, to be honest. Yeah. Now, as much as I enjoyed this book, and I did enjoy it quite a bit, like I said, it's at best 7 out of 10. It could do with I don't know. How do I say this? More to it. There could be more to it quite easily. Um, it could easily have been a longer story, more pages, more chapters. I mean, the events in this book only happen over a course of 3, maybe 4 months in total. So I suppose it's possible they could have made more of the story, stretched it out over more time. But I don't know. I don't know exactly. But for what it is, only and being the short story that it is, I still enjoyed it. I still very much enjoyed it, and I would very much recommend this book to anyone who likes werewolf stories. Um, yeah, it's an easy read. I read it in just one afternoon, basically, about maximum 5 hours for, but including breaks and all that. Yeah, you could read this book in a day, in an afternoon even. But if you like werewolf stories, if you like it and that kind of thing set in like Victorian England, I think this is if you like that kind of thing, this may be a good little fun, fun little read, side read as you're going through something a bit more substantial and all that. But yeah, like I say, I think this book has. I think Gareth Barsby self-published this book. Um, Information, as far as I know, about this book will be in the description box below this video, so by all means check that out. I think you may be able to find it through online shopping. I'll have to check that out at some point to see how we can find it, and if I'm successful in doing that, then I'll try to add it to the description box below this video. But in the meantime, uh, if you're able to find this book and if you're able to purchase it, yeah, I would say give it a go, give it a read. Definitely recommend. So yeah, I suppose. Oh, that's not yet. Because this werewolf woman, Martha, has her own religion about her own lord, her own god of werewolves, for lack of a better way of putting it. I suppose a nice way to improve this book is if we had more of a backstory and more information about this character. Because in this book we don't have much backstory or character development about Martha or her Lord character. So I suppose in one way it would be nice to get more information about that. But for what it was, for what it is, I enjoyed this book. I enjoyed this book for what it is. So yeah, it was a fun read, to be honest, yeah. Even though I've given it perhaps 7 out of 10, I still enjoyed this book. It was a fun read. So yeah. On that note, I'm going to finish this video here. Thank you everyone for watching. Take care of yourselves, be safe, and I'll see you all soon in the next video. Take care and goodbye.